but let the sea exit my body. Welcome to Madmouth Poetry Reading Series, Black Poets Matter, y'all. My name is Arthur K. Zakin, and I'm your co-host for Madmouth. Shout out to my co-hosts, Ruth Christopher, Cyrus Sepobody, Damika Thomas, Maya Alexandria, and Ideas Aubrey. Guys, Madmouth is an alliance of multicultural poets who have come together to produce Black Poets Matter, a curated reading series. Our goal for this reading is to center and amplify Black and multiracial voices within our communities and beyond. What sparked the idea for this reading? We just got tired as fuck of having a lineup with all white poets, you know what I mean? Black Poets Matter is going to run for as long as we have readers, and we hope that Madmouth will grow into a platform of community organizations, resources, and mutual support. We're currently working on more reading series, a website, which will include future projects like podcasts, workshops, and much, much more. Okay, tonight we have, I believe we have about 5 poets. We have 5 poets tonight who will read from their work. Our featured poet will read for 30 minutes. And we're very excited to have all you folks here. A few things before we introduce our first poet. You will, guys, I apologize in advance, but you guys will all be on mute for the duration of the reading, right? This is done to avoid any noise interruption and to respect our readers, during their expression. If you have any questions or just want to send some love for lines or any comments you want to make, feel free to use the chat option. The bottom of your Zoom account. You can also demonstrate applause by using the ALS sign by just waving your hands like this, or by just snapping your fingers like that. You can also use the emoticons at the bottom of your Zoom toolbox. They look like the Simpson hands, right? It's the thumbs up, and yeah, there you go. Thanks, John. Okay, readers and guests, if you have any questions about the reading, any technical issues, just drop a note in the chat and my admin host tonight, Cyrus, will answer any of your questions. Also, feel free to private chat him as well. Also, if you have any readings coming up, book launches, any classes that you're teaching, or anything that you want to highlight, go ahead and drop that in the chat. Send us the links. Send us the links to your independent bookstores. We're all about supporting indie bookstores and so forth. Now, in terms of honorarium, this is not a paid reading. It is a labor of love. However, we like to open up donations for our featured poets. Therefore, we'll place our the PayPal or Venmo info for our featured poet in the chat. You guys are not obligated to pay anything. If you don't have any funds or cannot donate any money, you can pay in compliments. All you have to say, drop a line like, yo, that line was fire. Oh, go poet, or whatever your thing is, right? Okay, respect. Guys, respect is priority here. Disrespect towards poets, hosts, or each other will not be tolerated. For example, do not make fun of anyone's appearance, style, race, gender, sexual orientation, anything else that you can think of, anything that can dehumanize someone. We have a zero tolerance policy for that. For example, I don't think I don't have to say this, but if you are not Black, do not use the N-word, right? That's automatic, you'll be removed from the reading. I mean, you guys are good about this stuff and it's not something to worry about, but it's just something that we have to say, just to say that. With that being said, I hope you guys are all ready for a solid hour and a half of tear the roof off poetry. We have Tavares Blackman on deck. Our first reader for this evening is Zakiya Brisker. Zakiya Brisker is a creative from South Central LA. She studies creative writing at University of California in Davis. Her work focuses on the existential implications of racial and gender identification, and she seeks Black liberation. Please welcome Zakiya Brisker to the stage.
Hey Arthur, sorry about this, but Zakiya just messaged me. She's running a little bit late. So maybe we can actually start with Tavares.
That sounds great. Tavares, are you ready to go up? think you're on mute. There we go.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So my name is Tavares Blackman. I'm a graduate of the MFA program at UC Davis. Currently operating two businesses. One is Creative Foundations, where I'm creating artwork, fabricating, selling work in the community, exhibiting. I'm the current Parent Artist Fellow at the Kala Art Institute and the 2020-2021 Kala Art Institute Fellow. So I'm going back there for a year. I've been there since January. So I'm going to read a selection of poems tonight. One of them is my most current piece. It's called Whipping Boys Blues. I don't know if you can hear, but my kids are in the background, so we're just managing bedtime and poetry reading at the same time. But the other poems are from a collection of writings in an as yet unpublished manuscript called Father of the Womb. So this first poem goes like this. Denzel's wit wrapped round his waist in the incense dusk. The goat with the rings round his dick sparkle with diamond glints in champion sweat. Sidney Poitier with a shiny satin suit slunk on the swatch of smooth silk sheets. When we win, we live like boys in steamy dreams, our loins like cash in the folds of the American balance. But when we lose, face down in the street, our backs riddled by lead, brains bursting with bullets, necks wrung like the child whose father bore a weeping abattoir. This is a loss not calculated in spirit or worth, but in this place where blood unites the rot, our murder is collateral. Our death is but a chance to increase the marrow of profit and loss. And my pockets are empty, and my tears are black, and my breath is suspect where air is commodity. This next poem is called Self-Portrait. I'm inclined to the late Robert Colescott's vision of Black celebrity. He does not hold them like stars cascading in the cinema. He asks a question about the complicit nature of position, the mammy, the charming Negro. What is the price in the time of Colescott to dance the minstrel on a racist stage? It is time to catch up to the bore of citizenry. The crackhead's gone to rehab, the pimp now a feminist. The father paints pictures with his child while the artist builds a culture of worth. This next poem is called Basquiat Interrupted. He wants to understand you, Jean-Michel. He wants to peer into the skull. Are you strong, harboring the racist weakness of American jealousy, scratching Afro-Oceanic marks like a child with a flaming crayon? By the time you die, he is just a child, drawing on composition paper. Where is that pride and power? A panther in Madonna's bed, a needle in the rear view. This next piece is called Sick of Wayne. We are crazy for pie in Sacramento. Pink pie, yellow cake, ice creams with complimentary cones. Make them drip, make them glimmer. Give me something, me, consumer. Give me a lollipop tree, I buy American. Wayne Thiebaud is a gifted painter, what he does with color. I see a black football player next to a white man in a suit. Betty Jean eating ice cream, reading in the white world. The gallery, all white. What a time, post-war, icing on the pretty cakes. You make us want American pie, not civil rights. But what's the point? America wants blood, black, brown, yellow blood. Where's Stonewall? An ad for pie, wheat paste, a deli counter. Give me an artist who gambles. Give me someone brave. Save the pretty pictures, a pretty place, pretty purchases. This is America. We kill kids. We rape women. We shoot the dog. This next piece is called On the First Time I Voted. Obama is the Harry Potter of politics, the black figure who lived. Malcolm, Martin. I have civil rights coloring books. Am I radical to fill outside the line? My heroes murdered, injustice around me in my youth, like sick air in a fog bank. Rodney King. Where's my sympathy for Reginald Denny? American justice is complicated, like I'm rooting for Clarence Thomas. This next piece is called Predominantly. There is no such thing as colorism among 8 Black freshmen in an all-white high school. Light, dark, mixed, biracial. We are connected by the struggle, by the margin. We play ball, we have to fight. Our homecoming dates looking like lambs covered in tar. This next one is called The Boogeyman's Children. There is no book on how to raise white children as a Black father. No text on how to parse what America is and should be. If there was a manual, if there was some simplified method, in this rough way I am tangled. I look at my children with a broken heart, both of us loving like children of an abusive father, pensive, troubled, affected. His rod is a righteous flagpole. His comfort is learned in refusal. I have just 2 more and they're short, so I'm gonna go through them real quick. Second to last one is called Monument. We laugh at politics these days. The military sticker, the badge of a punching child, the Blue Lives Matter flag on the back of the truck, waving like a windsock. America is always designing. There is always an image, a tower with a tarnished spire, the obelisk like a dildo. And the last piece is called Immaculate Constitution. Mother teaches me many things, things with weight and powerful meaning. America is like a barren woman, she says, bosom like a feast, womb like a grave. So thank you very much.
Wow, thank you so much, Tavares. Man, those pieces were short, but they were powerful. Where can we find your work? How can, if folks want to connect with you, how can we look you up?
I will put it in the chat. I have my personal website that my work is at. I have work currently online at Cura Mag in their Reverb edition called Voices Against Mass Incarceration. That's through Fordham University. I have some art and journals. So I'm gonna post my, yeah, there's some stuff right there. So I'll put the URL for my website, and my other project is Art Music Lit Space. So I'm basically doing what you're doing here. I'm working with artists in the community and internationally. We're having exhibitions on a website that rotate bi-monthly, and we have opening and closing receptions on Zoom. Those videos are recorded and posted on Vimeo, and audio is put on SoundCloud, and we also have a podcast. So I'll put those links in here. Thanks for having me.
Dude, that's what's up. Thank you so much, Tavares. You can see here, Cyrus is going to put all your info down into the chat. And also check out the comments from your poems from Maya and Jackie. Tavares Blackman, everyone. All right, so next on deck, we have our feature poet, John Lapine. But before we get to John, Zakia Brisker hails from South Central, now at Davis, her first time on the microphone. Please, everyone, give it up for Zakia Brisker.
Hello, am I seen? Can people see me? It's dark in my house, so I should probably put on a light. Hi, everybody. Man, this is crazy. This is my first reading ever, man. I don't have a lot of poems. I probably just got one because this is not what I usually do. But I gotta find it first because I just kind of came in to listen more than to do a poem. And then author came and told me I have to do a poem. So I guess I got to do a poem. So let me look for a poem that I feel like is something that is resonating with me right now. Thank you guys for your patience on this Saturday. It's crazy out here in this world. Anyways, oh, I found one. Let me see. No, I didn't. I lied. Let's see. Okay. All right. A title. So it just goes like this. I am slight sensitive to slight, for history is dictated by those who might, whose micros are macros, a real take it easy type, with slightly free hands from passing the buck, and think of Chicago when he wants to give a fuck, and thinks of at-risk youth when he wants to give a fuck, and thinks of immigrants when he wants to give a fuck, because Mont Blanc is too far. And that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you for. Thank you.
Dope. I love the repetition. How did it feel reading for the first time?
It feels super liberating. Because it's like you put it up in your head, right? It's in your head, and then when you actually do it, it's a different thing. So thank you guys for listening to me, and thank you for being my first audience. You guys are awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. So Kia, how can, if anyone wants to connect with you, go to some readings or collab with you in any way, how can they reach you?
I'm gonna put my Instagram in the chat, and yeah, pretty much I'm just an Instagram head, to be honest. So hit me up there. It's the quickest way to find me.
All right, excellent. So Kia Brisker, everyone, check out the chat and see what people said about your beautiful poetry you read for us today. Before we actually get to our feature, we have Queen Exodus on deck. And I see you there, Queen X, hi. So now it's time for our feature reading. John Lapine earned his MA in creative writing and pedagogy from Northern Michigan University. His work has appeared in or is forthcoming in the Rising Phoenix Review, Hot Metal Bridge, the Terms Review, Glass, a Journal of Poetry, Under the Gum Tree, Rhythm and Bones, Midwestern Gothic, and elsewhere. His first nonfiction chapbook, An Unstable Container, is forthcoming from Bull City Press in 2020. He teaches English at Butte College. Please welcome John Lapine to the stage, everyone.
Hi, folks. Thank you so much for having me. A beautiful venue. I love to be here. So I was thinking about my poetry today. I was curating my list, and I was thinking, I was realizing something about myself, which I've kind of always known, but I was realizing I have this very kind of twisted sense of humor. So it's kind of dark sometimes, and I think you'll see that in several of the poems that I read for you tonight. There's some kind of, they're about serious topics, but sometimes they have this turn or twist to them that is like a little bit funny or even dark humor. So if you catch yourself laughing at a poem that maybe you didn't think you were going to laugh at a poem tonight, feel free. If you want to make noise in your own home, yell and hoot and holler and wake up your kids, because I think that would be amazing if poetry could do that. What else? I read about a lot of things like family, my own and others. I read about history, and I read about the future, and I read about politics, and kind of all of that is in the reading that I prepared for you tonight. The first half of the reading are poems that are kind of particularly speaking about the Black Lives Matter movement. A lot of them were written a few years ago. It's a little bit sad that we're in a world where we still have to be writing and talking about poetry even years after these events happen, but I'm going to start with one that happened. Here's what I'll say. I wrote this poem when I was living in Michigan, and now I live in Northern California. But it's about a shooting that happened here in Northern California. So I used to be kind of far away from the shooting, and we watched it happen nationwide, and we watched it in the Midwest. And then I got a job here, and it turns out that it's really close to home now. And so this poem has kind of taken on more meaning as I've gotten further from having written it, because I'm geographically closer to Sacramento. And it's a poem called Elegy, and it's for Stephon Clark. Stephon Clark is thinking about dinner. He thinks about his grandmother's not yet famous cornbread, ribs with the slaw. He thinks about the sauce he will not lick from fingers, summer strawberry red but not so sweet, about crumbs he will not inhale. He is a moon, full, bright, or pale and faceless, pulls sands through tides, brown grains marking time. An officer says, "Mute your cam," and mutes Stephon by gunshots, 20. Stephon thinks about his baby sister, how she likes to paint, draw, make clouds and horses, wolves and dancers from nothing, just hands. He thinks how much better she will be, how much better things will get. Next week, her classmates will learn to count with yellow bricks to 1,000, and she will learn to bury her brother. Stephon is thinking about his breakfast, Sacramento eggs and grits and toast, the butter he chose to spread slick between his fingers. He is not thinking about spilling onto blue crabgrass. He does not think about his backyard. He thinks not about his own future. He does not yet know he is futureless. He is not thinking about Trayvon Martin, Michael Brown, or Tamir Rice, or other unarmed Black men like himself, but we are. He is not thinking about dirt now filling his mouth, ballooning his lungs, parading between his ears, but we are. He is not thinking about handcuffs dangling from his wrist, his limp, lifeless wrist, his wasting away now blue-purple bone he used to call wrist, wrapped in cold metal he will not feel, the walkie-talkie call he will not hear, bee colonies he won't watch collapse, the sea salt love he will not taste, his sister's face from above, who keeps creating while he's gone, who imagines the hole filled with these 1,000 yellow bricks, her prayers whispers in cupped hands. But we are. He is not thinking about the blood, the waterfall, the blood from his nose, his mouth, the hole filled with bricks, the blood from his eye, the blood, his blood-red blood, but we are. He is not thinking. He is not thinking. He is not. 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 But we are. Thank you. This next poem is probably the longest poem I've ever written. And I brought it to a workshop with a really amazing poet and essayist named Hanif Abdurraqib. And he wrote this really great book that kind of mixed essays with music and the condition of race in America called They Can't Kill Us Until They Kill Us. And I brought this to him and he didn't like it, so I'm going to read it tonight. And here's what I'll say. These next two poems actually are poems that I wrote in the same day, which is wild to think about because there's some months that I don't really write a lot. And then there's some days where I'm like, I'm going to write 3 poems. So these next poems, I kind of think of them as a pair together. They were published together. So the first one's called This Is How It Begins. With a boy gunned down for his iPhone, Skittles, toy gun, real gun, hoodie, or for no reason at all. Because last summer, a city in Missouri caught flame because a boy named Brown hit concrete because a cop decided blood was the price for a package of Swishers, even though this country stole more than he ever could in tobacco. His ancestors to here, each of 40 acres, 2/5 of a vote, and that promised mule. Or else this is how it begins. Me at the head of a classroom, explaining why I can use the word ain't in a poem, but why they can't in the research essay. Why using the N-word isn't Black privilege. And somewhere between audience and authenticity, I'm showing live footage of that burning city, the streets on fire, police cars overturned and them on fire too, air heavy waffle batter between 25 white faces and my own. And I'm 2 days into teaching. And I'm teaching a required reading about poverty and crime in Detroit written by a white man, because all required readings are written by a white man, because I wouldn't teach my great-great-grandparents to read after shipping them to here. It begins with explaining to these criminal justice freshmen why someone might destroy their home, town over the blood of just one boy, or about why it's not just about the blood of one boy, but also every boy who came before. Or it starts 60 years ago, when bodies still hung from trees, how a man could be strung up like a Christmas ornament for drinking at the wrong fountain, sitting at the wrong bench, walking behind the wrong white woman, or beaten to a bloody pulp for no reason at all. Like when she admitted on her deathbed that she lied about the whole damn thing. Can you believe it, Emmett? She lied. Maybe that's how it starts. But it sure as shit don't end with the Montgomery American Lynching Memorial. And it sure as shit don't end with the Facebook comment on that article about the lynching memorial saying blah, 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 slavery, blah, 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 whites are bad. Because I don't have the energy to explain that lynching and slavery are 100 years apart. And maybe that's why we need this memorial. So instead, I click the wow react, and then I click X to make it disappear. Or it starts with not stars and stripes, but an X, like a cross knocked over, a burnt cross, knocked over like dead cartoon eyes, like red crisscross latticing brown skin in X's. And 150 some years in the future, a voice will say, let's just forget this all. I ain't the sins of my granddaddy's granddaddy. Or aren't we all already equal anyway? Can't we all just start anew? As if tender pink cells could push through history's epidermis like it's not already scar tissue. Or it starts when continents cracked apart, Pangea divorcing Africa and the Americas, gulfs saline and widening between them, locusts of human origin, not just Black, but us, all of us. Oh, I wish I could have been there to hear that percussive bang, rumbling plate tectonics, to swim through tsunamis and ancient splitting trees, to gulp salty ocean from that chasm, drain the fluid that maybe caused this, witness the world dividing in prehistoric mitosis, segregation's genesis, let there be white and Black. Or to hold the pieces together and catch the heavy bodies who tumbled into the deep, black, raging fledgling sea, or jumped. Face down. And sometimes when I'm writing a poem about Ferguson, Michael Brown, and Trayvon, a truck will pull up next to me that says Ferguson Plumbing, that I ain't never seen before, even though it's been here my whole life in this town, like a gray statue in a city 91% white, whose residents still ask, where are you from? And I say, here, whose faces always betray surprise. And the truck won't just say Ferguson, but also passionate people. And no one expects more from us than we do. And it'll make me laugh a little. And I'll know it's a trick of light or smoke and mirrors, this illusion of oasis, because aren't I always writing about young, unarmed Black men? Because growing up, everyone told me you aren't like other Black people. And when I press them for more, they stumble through, well, you aren't like really like Black, like, you know, like a thug. Even though everyone crosses the street to the other side, clutching pearls because my nose and eyes, flinch when my skin enters my pocket for my wallet, touch my hair without asking. And hasn't Ferguson been driving around all year? And ain't this all a big coincidence? And don't everything feel a little bit more poetic when you're writing? Like, doesn't everything take on a little more magic, a little more shine? Don't birds become pens, carving scriptures through skylines? Don't trees preach silent sermons? Won't today even my job feel like poetry? How I'm still doing laundry at a 4-star hotel? How the semen and bloodstains on sheets will seem like Rorschach tests? Won't they just be like life itself? Or how they got me scrubbing baseboards in the off season? How they got me wiping kids' vomit and Colombian decaf and black scuff marks from white wooden baseboards? How the dust collects in bunnies on my cold, wet rag? Or how I have to go over it twice to wipe away the white residue from the Mr. Clean magic eraser? Or how my vision pinpoints from bending and kneeling and praying and squinting down the long red hall, how it'll make blood timpani in my ear, or how water turns to milk and sea foam at the corner of the bucket's wide black mouth. Won't that be poetry? Won't it babble through my head all morning? Won't imposter syndrome whisper like a loveless child? But I'll still think, isn't that a little funny, that old truck? And when it passes and becomes dust, I'll see a penny on the sidewalk, tails up. Lincoln's face smashed into concrete, not breathing. And I'll think, isn't that funny? No, I won't pick it up, but I'll still think I'm the luckiest guy in the world. I'll think, lucky me. Thank you. I've got two more poems that are kind of explicitly about Black Lives Matter and anti-Black violence by the state. Then we're going to shift gears a little bit. So this is called 4 Augusts Before, and it's a poem that I wrote in response to meeting the Black side of my family, who I'd never met until basically I'd gotten through college. And my father was Black and passed away a few years ago, but this is in response to the wedding that I attended of my cousin, and sing about Blackness and being the Blackest person in my school, and then the whitest person at this Black wedding. So it's a poem about that. It's called 4 Augusts Before. 4 Augusts before a city in Missouri caught flame, my aunties would teach me the electric slide. We thirsted something fierce that summer, needed anything wet to quench our arid mouths, iced coffee, beer, big gulps, things we knew would dehydrate us. I think we discovered thirst that summer. We must have learned thirst when desperation sang like wind through the sands of our throats. Air hung humid, heavy with water, clung to caverns in our teeth like melting chocolate. We tried to breathe, to capture that water, but lungs can't tell liquid from sky. And those trees, green fireworks, laughed and lapped up our sighs. That summer, while mouths got drier, our eyes grew wet. Not like pools, more like blood tests. Click. A pinprick and then tiny red bulbs gnawing through fingerprints, perennial blossoms, because somehow this happens every year. How does our DNA remember ancestral traumas? The droughts and blights, hungry nights. Do needles change our skin forever? Will my grandchildren feel my first heartbreak? Will they feel this thirst? Will they feel the fear I feel when videos of unarmed Black men go viral? Will they feel pain enter my chest as I watch bullets exit theirs? That summer, everything felt at once like a beginning and an end, surprising yet inevitable, like a movie script or ancient scripture. Iggy Azalea cracked Billboard and Pharrell melted speakers, trying to make us believe 2 years before the end of the Obama era that we could be happy. That summer, we waited, armpits wet, for the sky to break open, for the threat or promise of rain to be fulfilled and extinguish hell on earth, to pin cotton clothes to skin. We knelt, gazed skyward, mouths agape, eager to learn whether we be cleansed or drown like turkeys. This poem is called A Poem in Which No One Dies. And there's a poet that I went to grad school with named Desiree Brown, and they wrote a poem that this poem kind of mirrors their poem. Their poem it's backwards, so it's the events of the poem happening backwards, and I wanted to write a poem like that. And so I wrote A Poem in Which No One Dies. A boy in a hoodie moonwalks home from the store. Skittles scatter back into their bag. A policeman breathes life into a boy, lifts him from the sidewalk, shouts, "You, hey!" A 12-year-old boy cocks a toy gun in the park. Water enters the chamber. A squad car shifts into reverse, then parks. A Minnesota man reaches for his wallet, says he's carrying legally. The cop starts his car and turns off the lights. In Washington, D.C., dozens of Black women appear. Black bodies rise from the Atlantic. And in New York City, hundreds of women and men ascend to tops of towers. Someone dials 119, and the door slams on 6 adults, 20 elementary school children. From an Orlando nightclub, 49 people return home single. They wipe glitter and makeup from each other's faces, say, tonight, it, kill, let's. In Aurora, moviegoers watch the Joker help Batman dismantle bombs and rebuild Gotham. In a Texas church, grandmas and children scream in joy as 450 bullets return to magazines. From the 32nd floor of a Vegas hotel, a crowd hears 1,100 pops and begins to dance. Someone deletes a viral video of the event. An Uber driver picks up a boy from school in Parkland. So those are poems that are kind of very explicitly about anti-Black violence. And then I wanted to shift gears and read some other poems, some older stuff and some newer stuff. This is a poem called Pride, and it's about the relationship with my mother and my father. And she told me this story after he had passed away. They did not have a relationship after I was born. And she told me the story that back in the 90s, I was born in the early 90s. And she said, back when we knew each other, he got drunk one night, or we were drinking and we were having drinks. And he said, I got this secret to tell you. And I just been like holding it in, and I really want to tell somebody, and I've never told anybody. And she's like, yeah, whatever. Like you can trust me. Whatever you say, it's fine. I'm not going to think any differently of you. And he never ended up saying what it was. And so it's the secret that we think died with him. And her suspicion is that maybe he was bisexual or even gay. And it's completely unconfirmed, but this is a poem about my mom telling me about that moment. And it's called Pride. Today I am gay unabashedly, but once I was not. Once during Truth or Dare, buzzed friends bore witness while I kissed a sophomore, imprint of her throbbing in the mouth that I cooled with a cold glass bottle. I became Bushmills shots straight. I let amber slugs crawl through my ears. Once my cousin asked, who are you interested in? And leeches raided my mouth, slick hair in a drain, a lie by way of hiding. Today I imagine my future husband, corporeal night, a beard of ravens. My mother says my father had a bottle habit, found medicine in liquor cabinets, doctors in cabarets, made bars, infirmaries. I take her word. Once he told her he had a secret. Her ears soaking in the plum brandy of his wet lips, the night a pickled tongue. She said she loved him no matter, before he left without spilling, and then passed. She wonders if he found men, made them cancer cells in his numb black mouth, if he let them turn his lungs to velvet smoke, if my sisters are his way of hiding, if my mother and I are his lie. He lived until he didn't, lost his words to a stroke. This is not confession because he never did. I hear he never could smile after that, never could make his mouth less a fallen scythe. This next poem is an experimental poem, and it was published in Glass. So there's a journal online called Glass, and they have this series called Poets Resist, and it's this series of kind of very contemporary, up-to-date events, current events. And so I wrote this a few years ago now. This was last summer, maybe like a year and a half ago. My stepfather's grandma passed away, and even though I'm 29, I'm about to be 30 in January, but we still take road trips with the family. So it was like 27, 28-year-old and a 30-year-old in the back of his car, and we took this road trip down to Wisconsin over the summer to kind of do funeral arrangements and check out the house of the grandmother who passed. And on the way, we stopped at this Arby's, and we heard the news about, it's during the news cycle of the detainees at the border. And so this is an experimental poem. It's got a really long title and a really short text. And I always wanted to write a really long titled poem. So here's the title of the poem, and I'll read the poem after. The poem is called "In which President Trump has ordered the detainment of nearly 2,000 young boys, separated them from their families, and housed them in temporary confinement facilities located inside a former Walmart. And Attorney General Jeff Sessions uses the Bible as justification for upholding the law. And I am on a road trip with my parents, and we stop at a gas station in Wisconsin for lunch, and I am trying the new bourbon barbecue bacon brisket sandwich from Arby's with a side of small curly fries and a diet Dr. Pepper." Here's the poem. "My mother says, 'How long has it been?' It feels like a prison sentence, and I tell her 510 days. And I've got 4 more poems for you. So the next 3 poems are all the most recent stuff that I've written. It's about COVID and social distancing and mental health. And if you're writing about mental health, you're also writing about mental illness. Mental wellness as well as mental illness kind of go hand in hand. So I would say these are more on the side of illness. This first one's called "In the Time of Social Distancing, I Was a Grapefruit." "In the times of social distancing, I was a grapefruit, all pith and pink-skinned. You took me by my mottled hand and brought me to the ocean. You ignored the government fines. You said, 'Fuck that, I need to show you something,' and stuck a finger between rind and flesh and cold-pressed citron oil from my lung. It was midnight. The sun bared its teeth at the pale and unfamiliar seagulls, the black sand, the hollow moon. You said there'd be days like this when the lilting music from the farmer's market would seem like counting seconds between seeing lightning flash and feeling thunder's hungry boom. This is a natural ache,' you said. And I woke up into a dream where I found you again. And I told you what life was like back in the waking world. We talked about the blood types of horses, the letter W, the difference between 6 feet away and 6 feet under. Dream you said, maybe this isn't a death sentence, and I fell fist first on cement. Dream you said, breathe, and the eels in my jaw wriggled to a tune that vibrated through a beach full of empty shells. The notes and lyrics lay bare against seawater. This next poem is another poem with a really long title. I kind of like those kind of poems. So this one's called "In which social distance practices following the outbreak of COVID-19 have given the poet severe agoraphobia stress dreams. And he is reading the self-care poster he leaves magneted to his fridge while he reaches for another of his mother's homemade chocolate chip cookies, which she mailed to him from 1,771 miles away." A silence. A quiet, still birth. What tender violence to cry into hands you've washed for 20, you hope, seconds. A pile of deer feed spilled in the street, I turn around, all cold bones and sin. And at the count of 6, we breathe through opposite sides of tepid mouths and wish to be dirt. Nightmares come nightly, us in a cab, shoulders touching. Otherwise, we're kissing. Then abject horror screams through me and I race to drink capfuls of bleach until I wake up. Listen, I've been around here long enough to know when they close the mountain to visitors during wildflower season, shit's real. How long until my flesh forgets how not to bristle when touched? How long until I don't tense and tighten like a leather belt? Physiological. My head, my heart, my body. The difference between expecting the worst and deserving it. Upon arriving home, we pray at the altar, singing 2 happy birthdays. And aren't we all alone in this together? This togetherness of being alone? The scent of isopropyl on my palms reminds me that I want another drink. I conjure up some stranger. We exit an Uber and climb pyramids. I think about hospital beds. Even dream me recoils at physical touch now. Even dream me finds the altar, baptizes for too long, anoints himself with ethyl alcohol, soaking his head, his heart, his body. And I've got just 2 more for you. The next one is the newest poem that I've written, and then the one after that is a love poem that I wrote a long time ago, but I love it to close a reading because it's happy after hearing a lot about gun violence and anxiety. I want to close on something happy. So here's a poem, the most recent poem that I've written. I wrote it last month, and I wrote it in response to the New York City Health Department. They have new guidelines that came out in mid-June for guidelines for safer sex. And basically they said, you know, if we're going to be in this pandemic for more than a year, people are not going to not have sex for more than a year. It's just not going to happen. So here's some tips that they put out for safer sex. And it begins with a quote from that document, followed by the title, which is, the title of the poem is Custom Finished, Tactical, COVID-Free Neighborhood Glory Hole. Make it a little kinky. Be creative with sexual positions and physical barriers, like walls that allow sexual contact while preventing close face-to-face contact. New York City Health Department Guidelines for Safer Sex, June 10, 2020. Custom finished, tactical, COVID-free neighborhood glory hole. New York City health officials said, "Happy Pride, bitches, no kissing." So now even non-queer people can have that authentic queer experience. Immersive, historically accurate sex with anonymous partners, back alley blowjobs, genitals frantic and unwashed. And no one would have to say, "I love you" afterwards, and no one would have to look each other in the eyes. Wear a face covering, avoid kissing, and do not touch your eyes, nose, or mouth with unwashed hands. New York City health officials said, "Ignorant, feckless love machine, just stick it under a bathroom stall and wait for a mouth like the rest of these queers. Your sourdough starter isn't photogenic, and your Silicon Valley marijuana delivery app's algorithm owes billions in reparations. Online, I am anonymous and I am Antifa. I might fuck around and smoke a half a pound like Wiz Khalifa. Shit, I'm working from home anyway. It's legal, except for those still locked up in prison where COVID is more lethal. We've made it a life sentence." Heavy breathing and panting can spread the virus further, and if you or your partner have COVID-19 and don't know it, a mask can help stop that spread. As a Capricorn, I do not know how not to wear a mask. Billionaire author transphobe who must not be named won't write this into her books, but Dumbledore frequented the glory hole on the 79th floor men's bathroom at Hogwarts. I know because he left me gasping, a shimmering rainbow of gasoline, a gutterfish choking. Make me a microphone, a medium, a better thing, a testimony, a preaching, a chant, a prayer, a panting, a wet diamond, a man, a god, a note from above. Make me a lonely word from God. And then this last poem is called I Want to Fall in Love to Frank Ocean, and it's a love poem and it rhymes and it's super cute, and that's all I gotta say about that. I don't always write poems that rhyme, but this one's fire, so I couldn't leave it out. I want to fall in love to Frank Ocean. Groovy blonde hip hop soundtrack to emotions, lust like black lips or the motions of hips thrust, slick with Astroglide, cocoa, and shea butter lotion. I want to fall in love with eyes open, lights on, Stretch marks wide, white, I want to hold them. Finger birthmarks, zebra stripes, deep as canyons, less lonely. I want to turn us to commotion. Blast cannons, all brown fist, balled up, silent protest, groaning. I want to fall in love buying groceries. Deli sliced pepper jack, split top wheat bread, Miracle Whip and bologna. I want to fall in love at CrossFit, IKEA, my local Denny's or Shoney's. Homegrown love. 7 syrup pancakes, sticky thick raisins in the sun. You can own me. I want to be your badass Midwestern domestic chick. Cook you chili with cornbread and 12 cheese macaroni. Our first dance will be Genuine's Pony. A delirious bump and grind to If You're Horny, Let's Do It, Ride It. I want to take you all in, see you entirely. So show me. And until that day comes, I'm hoping that God has a plan for me. I stay open to that. I pray there's a spot in heaven for us. I kneel and imagine I'm golden. I pray that one day the California Senate won't take the right to buy baked goods away. Let the motherfuckers eat the goddamn cake. And sometime in the future, I pray my adopted daughter will be Black and proud, that she never grows up, that she stays safe from guns, cracks the earth to fat hemispheres, reads books and writes poetry. I pray she stays young and alive. I pray I stay open to that. I pray I stay open. Thank you so much for taking the time. Thank you for having me. This has been amazing. This has been so much fun. That's all I gotta say. That's that on that. That's that on that.
That's that on that. I pray as they stay open. John, that was so rich. Like the breadth of your work, that it moved from academic to unorthodox, but yet you always kept this this steady satire throughout. That was just really brilliant work. And the pandemic poem, I couldn't help but think about this satire of kind of diaspora and kind of novels, or dystopian novels, really. What are you working on right now?
That's a good question. Here's what I'll say. I also write nonfiction, and I wrote my thesis 2 years ago for grad school, and it's getting turned into a nonfiction chapbook. And so originally when I wrote it, it was a mix of essays and poetry. I took the poems out and I kept the essays, and I was like, this could stand on its own. And so that's forthcoming from Bull City Press. I got to get into a writing habit. Right now I let the poem hit me, and when it smacks me in the face, I'm like, I got to write this down. And sometimes it doesn't happen for a while, and sometimes, like I said, sometimes it's 3 in one day. So that's what's up.
Awesome. I love the references to Hanif Abdurraqib's personal essays. They Can't Kill Us Until They Kill Us is a wonderful collection of personal essays. And I really love what you had read there. What we're going to do is I'm going to drop John's Venmo in the chat once more. Show him some love. We'd love to support our poets. Once again, everyone, John Lapine, thanks for joining us today, John.
Thank you so much for having me. Thanks, everybody.
Absolutely. On deck, we have Ideas Aubrey, our very own. But before we get to Ideas, we have Queen Exodus with us tonight. Now, Queen X is the creator and editor of Black literary magazine, The X Factor, published by her company, Queen X Literature, and a contributing writer to Beat City Perspective. She's also the author and poet from LA. Currently, Queen X is a host of the OMR Show, a podcast she created dedicating to hosting open intersectional conversations, especially between generations. She has written a book called Hidden Moments, and we'd love to drop that in the chat for you, Queen. A short story collection published by World Stage Press. Queen X also has an essay published in the upcoming anthology, A Teenager's Guide to Feminism, published by Pear-Shaped Press. Please give a round of applause for Queen X, everyone.
Hello. Hello, everybody. I'm Queen X for short. Queen Exodus, the poet is for long. Like you said, I started the X Factor, which is a easing that I wanted to put together for Black voices. So we had our first quarterly magazine out well, it was springtime this past year, springtime 2020. And I'll drop the links and stuff lower in the chat. But queenxlit.com is where you'll find like all my other services to help people self-publish as well. My goal is to help other people tell their stories because people help me tell mine. So trying to return the favor. We also have something called Authors Pool. So if you have a concept, but you're still trying to raise money for it, then I want to create a platform where you just put the title up and then people can donate to get your book published. So if that's something you're interested in, check it out. I have a poetry manuscript that I feel is possibly still incomplete, but it's tentatively titled Open Eyes, and it's dedicated towards the perspective of me becoming an adult in my later 20s. I'm about to be 31 tomorrow. So I've just had all of these, 20-year-old experiences, but from the mindset of someone that seems a little bit more mature. And so you just see things differently. So that's why it's called Open Eyes. But recently, with things that have been happening, I normally don't write social political pieces, but it's been on my heart to write some of these things. So the first one is called Breath. And this is how it goes. My breath, though divine, though given to me by God, though it speaks life, though it is used to protect, though it is used to fight, though it carries words of love, though it is not even truly mine, my breath is meaningless to the people who ignore that its host even exists. This population seems to be in the millions, maybe billions. Their reason is all Greek to me. And Lord knows I only speak English, but they don't hear when we say, I can't breathe. Now that phrase is so cliche, I hate to tarnish my craft with it, but these days, I'm almost sure that line in a variety of ways will grace another brown man's breath until his freeze frames. His breath, though it helps raise a child, though it belongs to his people, though calm yet wild, though ready to yell, though royal by blood, his breath is meaningless too, loud to deaf ears yelling at churlish fools. Rowdy and in charge, these asses. I hate to be victimized by them, antagonized by the fortuity of their crassness, and Lord knows I speak common sense, but they don't hear protests in peace or the riots in the streets. Our breath, because it is a life they desire, because it is a force they fear, because it is sourced from holy fires, because it influences millions, because it never truly tires, because it is eternal energy that reaches frequencies much higher. Our breath is meaningless in the hands of those who wish it didn't exist. Thank you for the mad snaps, guys. This next piece is called Relax. The untelevised revolution lies behind my dark eyes. Beyond surface deep with a justified rage, I offer the Lord my praise with the blood of my enemies at my feet. Their heads are on my spears, redlining my neighborhood, a warning to the hateful swine. Their hearts in my mason jars, sun-dried on the windowsills as I imbibe their tears like wine. Relax. This fantasy of noir is only in my mind. As I avoid the pen and the blank page because there the truth will lie, I refuse to face the shadows this time for the sake of my amicability, at the cost of my compassion, at the expense of the good in my soul. So I find myself asking questions to which I know the answer. Relax. The fire next time is near, and though demise is imminent, it should be nothing to fear. I can't promise it will be quick, but I can promise it won't be painless. But this fire won't burn right because it burns just me presently. My God won't let my flames even touch your night, so I find myself soaking, envying, vengeance. Relax. Revenge at my hand is gory, as marvelous as death's white horse hooves in a bloody glory, trampling through the hearts of the wicked. An encore only God can ordain, meant for even their children. I am tempted, but I digress. I suppress. Then I pray away the stress so that I may relax. Thank you guys. I was really, as a Black person, being on the fence about how far one would go in the name of justice. And when you're a generally nice person, to find yourself teetering on the side of what could be evil is kind of a scary thing, especially when you feel like you've been turning the other cheek for 400 years. This next poem, Did You Know, is dedicated to all the people out there killing Black guys and girls for no reason. Did you know that when you kill a Black boy, you are wasting unicorn blood? The killers knew, and in one act following the grand ploy, opened the gates for his magic to flood. Did you know that the following trial of such a heinous crime is an elaborate ruse? The judge knew, and on the taxpayer's dime, we get another indictment refused. Did you know that killing a unicorn is bad luck that lasts the length of your life? The keepers knew, and without giving a fuck, began to plot against the killers and their wives. Did you know that upon our souls they gorge and our talents they pillage? Soon the killers will overstand, the vengeance is the Lord's, but we were also made in God's image. And that's that piece. I like to write haikus from time to time. One of my favorite haikus is called Ain't Shit. And it says, ain't shit free out here. Ain't shit boys and ain't shit girls out here. Free as fuck. I'm gonna switch up the tempo a little bit and read something a little bit more lovey-dovey, I guess. I like to write about what I experience, and what I experience the most is relationships. So, you know what, Arthur, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you a title or two, and I want you to let me know which one you think sounds really cool. Okay?
Oh, okay.
So one is called Fell. The other is called Sweetness. And the other one is called Sunshine Eyes.
If it's up to me, and I want to see what you guys think in the chat, go ahead and write in the chat. I would say Fell. What do you guys think?
Either Fell, Sweetness, or Sunshine Eyes. Okay, we got Sunshine Eyes, Sweetness.
John got
all
sweet.
three.
Go all three. Let's do it.
Okay. Well, we'll start with Fell. How about that?
Sure.
All right. Now I know I've swooned. I let you pull me in, and all too soon you open my heart like a rose in bloom, sending me into a lover's womb where joy and a new passion is gloom written on the dark of its walls, and I am the fool. There is always dark before the dawn, and so the sunlight in your eyes must have been too good to be a false lie, a truth. A belief that shouldn't have existed for my sake, and yet for that sunshine in my life, my heart quakes and my lip quivers and my eyes are draped in dry tears. Big girls don't cry, but every moment I'm reminded of the absence of your presence, I get smaller, smaller, and smaller, while the height of my desire gets taller and taller and taller, making the fall into love with you much more dangerous. Maxwell, Tamia, Avant, Aaliyah, I wish their lullabies described us. They all sing me to a slumber in my conscious state, in the fantasy. The fairy tale is almost as good as reality, but the real is best when I witness the masterpiece that is you, even with all of your flaws. Now I know I've swooned. wooed into a fallen state. And for this moment I could hardly wait. But since the arrival of this day, gravity don't seem to be pulling you my way. So falling into this love that I can't give to my baby got me going half past crazy. I'm head over heels. I'm swept off my feet only to let the concrete catch me. I fell so hard unconsciously I barely felt me in the cold ground meat. And you could see for once my heart on my sleeve, and you turn away from me and you flee. Though hurt and bruised, I admit that I was. My arms remained ready to take you back, even though you left with my heart. So now it's love I lack. I only wish to catch the gleam of sunshine in your eyes and an occasional backwards glance into the past you left me in. You would still find me in the same stance, eyes hazed over, arms full of this loving, heart still warm like a preheated oven. It's been a long time, but if you saw me, you could tell that I haven't gotten up from the time that I fell. And that was the first one. You like that one, Arthur?
That was dope. The oven line right there, like that.
I'm not gonna lie, that's one of my favorite lines, like in life. Okay, so sweetness is next. I've never read this to anybody, so give me all the feedback possible. Hazelnut skin, mocha brown eyes, nutmeg kisses, cinnamon swirl thighs. Yes, I'm sweet, just as sweet as can be. My caramel licks and cocoa suckles all over your earlobe give me bubblegum chuckles. You tickle my fancy with those almond joy eyes curved in all the right places, speaking love words to my mind when you make those sweet love faces. Yes, I'm sweet, just as sweet as can be. Milk and honey streams down Hershey beams, a delightful treat from you in my dreams. Please, me. Coconut stars above, watching licorice lash at just the right spots. Kit Kat smacks leave no room for breaks, just colorful remarks like dots. Red, yellow, and blue colors flash while in my arms you're humble. And before my true sweetness in my hands, you'll want to just crumble. Yes, I'm sweet, just as sweet as can be. Yes, sex and food poems. Oh man. Okay, so the other one was Sunshine Eyes. Let me find it here on my little tablet. Okay, so this poem was actually inspired by an old jazz song called "Them Their Eyes." I like the Anita O'Day version, if you know who Anita O'Day is. Sunshine eyes got you in trouble, boy. I see you now and I like what I see. They say everything that glitters ain't gold, boy, but I feel rich with you next to me. Them their eyes, smiling at me from across space and time, blessing my mind with a peace I thought I'd never find. It must be the God in you because the memories of your face feel too good to be true. Them their eyes. You've got a funny way of flirting with them, and I can't see how you don't know. It's just this thing that pushes my mouth into a smile, and you laugh as you watch it grow. Even though my even through my tears, them eyes fiercely they blaze, and through the blur of my own passion, I realize the power behind your gaze. Them their eyes, those sunshine eyes, they got you in a whole lot of trouble. Thank you. Arthur, how much time do I have?
You have one more poem?
I got a lot of poems. But no, yeah, I got another one for you guys.
Okay.
I think you guys would appreciate this poem here. It's called Hello Heartbreak. And I had a good time writing this despite the topic. Because I chose a particular rhyme scheme. Sometimes when I start out writing a stanza, I may choose to keep that format, whether or not it's traditional, rhyme scheme or what have you. But I just try to play around with how I write to just test my skills. And this was one of the ones that I felt kind of old Englishy. It's called Hello Heartbreak. Hello, heartbreak, old friend. It's been a while since we last spoke, but I am reminded now of how much you miss me. Dear cousin to despair, how you have loved me so, waiting with arms wide and no intention to dismiss me. The prodigal daughter returns to the home of solitude, one thriving with vines nourished with tears, and to its garden, whose birds sing of somber fools who have drowned in the loneliness they feared. Hello again, heartbreak, my most consistent lover. I draw near to your appeal as nights alone lie ahead. Your knives, with every incision, warm and icing heart dying of wonder, I question no more what life is like with a full bed. For now, I rest within your hold over me, tired of this hope I keep. O disdainful kin to death, how you must love to see a scarred heart rest lifeless on my sleeve. And that's that piece.
Thank you so much, Queen. There was so much there. You know, I really want to read a book of your haikus.
I'm actually working on that. Actually, I'm going to do haikus, loons, and tankas.
Where can we find your work?
Well, you won't really find my poetry out just yet because I'm putting together a whole new manuscript right now. But I do have my fiction book. It's a collection of short stories. That's available on worldstagepress.org. It's called Hidden Moments. I would prefer people buy directly from the small press just to support. It's local out of Leimert Park. It's Black owned as well. And they actually have a writing course. If you're in LA, Community Literature Initiative helps you go through the book writing process and how to get the basics into getting your book actually published. And so, World Stage Press, you can find Hidden Moments. I have about 13 short stories. Some are erotica, some are like politically charged. I talk about gentrification, I talk about domestic violence. There's a whole bunch of stuff in there to unpack. But for now, you guys can follow me on Instagram, queenx.lit, short for literature. My website is queenxlit.com. If you guys have any questions about publishing, or you yourself have something you want to submit to my e-zine, feel free. It's a quarterly, so I try to do it 4 times a year to put it out. I'm getting a lot of good responses from people submitting, fiction, was it flash fiction, some nonfiction, personal essays, poetry. It could be a music review. If you're a writer and you're a person of color, I want to hear your opinion, and it's just another outlet. So right now, it's a free publication until we start to get the physical copies down. So by I think January 2021, around that time is when we'll start doing actual print copies of the magazine. So if you guys have any resources, let me know so I can drop them copies in there.
Well, thank you so much, Queen.
Thanks for having me.
Go ahead and check out queenxlit.com, support World Stage Press, and contact Queen X. Build a conversation. We do our small parts through our communication to build a better world, right?
Definitely.
And now we have Ideas Aubrey. What can I say about Ideas? He was our feature last week. He is our very own co-host. I've known Ideas for about, I think, 3 years now. I met him at Lamplight Poetry, and I heard him on the mic there, and I was just like, man, this guy is fire. He embodies poetry. He ran his own circuit, Hollywood Poets, and he's an amazing poet, an amazing individual. Everyone, please welcome Ideas to the stage.
What's good, everybody? Let's get her. Oh, let's get some love in the house. Let's get some love in the house. Yo, what an amazing night for all the readers. You got awesome. John, you kick ass, bro. Kick ass right there. Get some love to John, man. Drop some money on John Venmo, man. Poets need to get paid out here. We don't want to be broke. We got to get paid out here, everybody. Should get some love to John. Get some love to Queen. Get some love for all the real. Welcome to our mouth. Here, yo, Poetic More. Butter Noodles. I know you there, brother. What's good, man? What's good? That's my boy Poetic More is in the house. Told you Rubo was gonna recruit this button on here. I told you. Yo, let me drop you guys 2 poems. We can get off this amazing night. Let me speak something that's beautiful with you. I love it. The energy, the drink of wine, the love we can have together. I just want to dance on your own true Jupiter star. I just want to feel us, question us, sing us. I just want to hear poetry like your own true words. I just want to read to the sunset and the sundown. I just want to screech through my own true veins. I just want to change history with this art. I just want to feel my own true life. This is just me. A poem can make me cry to the tears of my own true words. And I just want to read the poetry like the next scripture of my Bible. I want to chant and meditate with words scripture to my back and know these words will become me. I just want to hear poetry. I just want to hear poets from different diversities, different sexes, different cultures, different. It doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter where you are. I'm not even a slam poet, but I do not want my words to become judged. I don't want my words to become points. I want you to feel my art. My pain, my sacrifice, my tears, my blood, like the dirt inside my own true fingernails. My poems are the scripture of a Bible. You will read them, you will feel them, you will scream at them, you will whip them, you can smell it. My words, like the last ink of a pen, a broken of a pencil, a eraser of my own true life. My words are manifesting inside of me, equality in me. My words will travel around the world. My words will become something. Let me introduce yourself, COVID-19. My name is Ideas Aubrey. I am a poet. I am a leader. I am a teacher. I am something bigger around this world. My words could continue to change mankind. My words are something I have to feel and bleed into it. My words like missing teeth from my, it doesn't matter my color of skin. My words is right here between my own interpretation, like vinegar and eczema and lupus. That doesn't matter. My words do not stop me because I have a learning disability. My words do not stop me because I have a speech impairment. My words do not stop me if I can't even read in the second grade language. My words do not stop me because I don't have the power inside of me. My talents, my art, my dream. So poets, you down with me to change mankind, to change this world of today. We need compassion. We need love. We need hope. Not even the government is down to help us, but this world is all nation of God. Not liberty, only poetry. Not for the liberals, not from the right or the left, not for the Republicans or the Democrats. My words are not a hashtag to mess with. My words is nothing you would be on social media. My words is something I deliver through this mic. And God knows she is my wife. And I speak to her 24/7 a day, 365 a year. Poetry stop me with me. Poetry is me. Peace. Ooh, yeah. Thank you, Queen. Gotta back down from me. Let me just end you guys off with one good poem. This is for the, you know what? This is for the ladies. Let's go. This is for the ladies right now. Let me do this. For the ladies in the house. This is for the ladies in the house. We got women tonight, everybody. Maya, are you ready for women? Well, she not on here. Tamika, you ready for ladies tonight? You ready for ladies? Get your smile when you got your next host. Gotta bring that energy and fire, girl. Because ladies, all my single fellas, get your notes, get your Facebook, get your IG, because I know you're singing out there. COVID got you fucked up. But in a minute, women, it's something so beautiful about you. I just love you. You're the glory. You're the queen. You're the princess. You're the garden of Eve. You're the cocoa boy. You're the coconut oil shave on your body. I love your energy. You are the perfect inferno. You are the garden of riches. You are the time of the. You are the beauty of you. I just want to dance with you. I want to love you. I want to touch you. Just want to feel with you. You are the woman of today. You are the woman of future. You are something we look up to you. We are something we love you. We do not inquire to you. We are not sexists. You are something blossomed in their own true lotus. You are the women I love. You have changed men from darkness into lightness. You are giving of your truth. You are the soul of your true potential. You wear your dresses. You wear your high heel. You put on them makeup and let it shine. My women, God damn, I love a woman's touch. But you are my daughters and my wife and my sisters. You are the blossoms of the lotus. You are the women of the future of true humanity of today. Do not share it. Blossom. Do not hold your scars. Live with it. Be that woman. Live them life. Share your truth. Share your voices. Snap with what you need. Live up your own true potential. You are the woman of tonight. You are the truth of the queens. You are the garden of the witches. You are the home of the templars. You are the woman of my dreams, my daughter, of my wife, and my sisters. Women today, there will not be a man. But men, we need to step up our game and treat our women with love and kindness. Women, and I repeat myself, you are the daughters and the wife of my sisters. You are the lotus of my own true blossom. You are the coconut butter, the coconut oil, even that raw shea butter. Enrich yourself and become queens of today. Peace. Thank you, my mouth.
Ideas, thank you so much. Dropped ideas info in the chat. Ideas, how can folks reach out to you?
You guys can reach out to me on IG, Simple Ideas Aubrey. Facebook, Simple Ideas Aubrey. You can just hit the DM me on it. I have Keep It a Real podcast every Friday from 9 to 11. We do poetry, we talk shit. We doesn't matter. It's something we can really get some things off our shed, off our really minds. And through this time, folks, as I'm going to end off something really good. COVID-19 did not stop poetry, and it stopped the art. We had created our platform through Zoom, Facebook, and Instagram. They didn't stop. I know we missed our open mic readings. We can go to the open mic and we get a little cup of coffee and tea and we can cheer. But look at what we have created right now. Through this, through the Zoom, through IG, through Facebook, we have created platforms. So we can have other opportunities for other artists to come from different diversity, different cultures, different styles of writing. We are not here to judge your art. We're not even here to even give you a point. This is not the Apollo. Whatever we can create, it can put on through the Zoom and we can share it through Facebook. So thank you for everybody who came to my mouth tonight.
Thank you so much, Ideas. Guys, it's been an honor to have you all this evening. Thank you for all of our readers tonight. Thank you, John. Thank you, Queen. Thank you, Ideas. Thank you. Thank you, Zakia. Thank you for everyone for being here. Thank you to my co-hosts, Cyrus, Tamika, Ideas again, Maya, and Ruth. Thank you yourselves for joining us this evening. I'm gonna put John's Venmo in the chat one more time, guys, if you'd like to show him some love. You know, and if you can't, that's fine. But you know, I think we can all agree there's no love like a dead president, right? So next week, join us for week 4 of Black Poets Matter. We have the amazing Jackie Oldham next week with us. She will be our feature. You won't want to miss her reading. In the meantime, stay safe out there, support your neighbors and yourselves, and wear your masks. Good night, y'all.